Sup guys, welcome to the biggest Pixels AMA that we ever had live. Don't forget to go in the theater from Travilla. When we have an AMA, we have an energy boost in the theater. Make sure you are low energy, and this is it. Or if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. I'm seeing the chat as well as we speak. And we'll start the AMA and react to it live. And I will explain what we think we need to explain. Make sure to sit here in the middle. I heard we have double the energy. See my little head here? Yeah, sit around here. I have some alpha that in the middle we have double the energy generation. So let's start the AMA.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Sorry, Heidi's not here, so it's a bit different of an AMA format. But yeah, I just want to thank you all for showing up today. Yeah, I've had a lot of time to reflect over the last year, over 2023, and I couldn't be more thankful to be building with this community and be building with all of you. So yeah, it's been a really exciting 2023, and it's going to be an even more exciting 2024. I am being joined with Jiho today, so I'll bring him on stage. Hey, how's it going?
Yo, can you hear me? Am I here?
Yes, we got you.
Nice.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining us. So yeah, I mean, how was your holidays? How was the end of 2023?
It was.
For new people around here, this guy is the founder of Sky Mavis and XE and the Ronin chain.
It was a crazy end of the year, to be honest, right? Like we had a flurry of launches in December, most notably Part Evolution. So yeah, we were grinding, and I guess now is maybe a little bit of a calm before the next storm on our front, but not really. But yeah, I'm back home. I'm not traveling right now, so it's always nice. I saw my parents. I went butterfly collecting. I actually may have discovered a new geographic record for the place that I'm in. So
for the amount of butterflies captured.
No, it's like a butterfly that had never been caught before here. I think it was like a new record, basically. So,
dang, nice. That's a sweet hobby. I got really into mushroom hunting at one point.
Wow.
Kind of a hobby, yeah.
Dude, I mean, I've gone once in like Healdsburg or something like that in Cali. But yeah, that sounds sick.
Nice. Okay, so for the agenda today, what we're basically going to be doing is we'll be kind of going over some of the 2023 stuff that happened because there was so much. Maybe highlight like some of the like shared milestones that we had. We'll talk a bit about what our plans are for 2024 and maybe some of Ronin's plans too. That would be awesome to hear some of that. And then we'll also dive deeper into what the next month looks like at Pixels. So this next month is going to be huge for us. We're really excited about it. We have a couple of really awesome things to announce today, and we'll have some more things to announce over the next week or two as well. We've been hyping up and like really talking about some of our plans, like Pixel Token and all that too, and it's just around the corner now. So we're about to start to kick off the stages of what that looks like. So we'll dig into all of this today. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. So yeah, I guess maybe we can start with some of the things that happened in 2023. So 2023 is crazy because it feels like forever ago. I've aged years and years. We posted a Twitter thread kind of going over everything that happened at Pixels. And if you guys go and read through it, I'll try to share screen around it right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There is a lot. It started off with us releasing a bunch of new industries, which is a really core part of gameplay now. And then we just kept going from there. So here, I have this ready to share. So yeah, if you want to just come through this year in review with us, we started 2023 off with releasing new industries, the apiary, sluggery, textile machine. Those are all added to Pixels in early January. And we started hosting our first energy party back in February as well. It was super fun. I think we had like 1,000 people in the game at once during this energy party, and our minds were blown.
Yeah, the 14th of February, the Valentine party, and it was something I suggested back more than a year ago, to have like a New Year's Eve party and have energy in Goose Bar. And they took that and they implemented this energy party in a Goose Bar, and then that became the meta, and that's how energy parties that you know of started and got from in Pixels.
That's kind of funny, like how far we've come since then. We started getting a lot more users in about like March, and we started to experiment with like some of the incentive design. And then, yeah, we started teasing and messing around with what deeper forms of interoperability looked like. We launched with a project called New Cyber. We launched VIP, and we started to build out more and more. In April, we ran our first like really interoperable like cross-team promotion with Tastemakers. We had like a bunch of Bored Ape IP integrated into the game. We started experimenting with that. Barry Withdraw and Deposit went live. And yeah, we had a fun giveaway too. We gave away some pitchforks. In May, we released Hot Potatoes. We supported like rentals, and we launched mobile support. That was the really big difference maker in May, I remember. And then, yeah, that's also when we started getting tracked in DAP Radar. And we also did a Pepe integration. I'm not sure how many of you still use that today, that Pepe integration. But you can buy fertilizer in the game with the Pepe token. We wanted to start integrating.
I need to use.
I don't think you cannot buy Pepe anymore, or Pepe fertilizer. I think they removed that outhouse when they redesigned the map, actually.
Some of mine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was super fun. And we're like always down to do some interesting stuff like that. In June, we started launching our UGC tooling. That's been super successful. And that's been one of the most interesting things I think we've done in the last year, just in terms of product. We couldn't get out enough in-game decorations and things for you guys to use your tokens on. And basically opening up this tooling for you guys led to two things. It led to some really new, interesting, creative gameplay. Like one of the things that we never expected was for people to be making so much branded content around their UGC, like around their NFT collections, around all this kind of stuff. And we kind of felt UGC became this feature of community building beyond what we just offer inside of the game right now, beyond avatars, beyond like tokens integrated. So yeah, we're super excited to expand on that more in 2024. In July, we did a super fun beach party, started building and getting ready for like the next stages. In August, we released Other Spec. That was a really fun game loop built around Other Deed. We basically integrated all 100,000 Other Deeds into the game. We let people play this game loop around them. There was this interesting like meta gameplay of having to go to the right type of Other Deeds to make sure you had the right land and resources. And that was our experiment with like, okay, what does deeper interoperability with like other IP do for user acquisition for us and within those other communities? Really fun experiment. Glad we ran that. And that was like right when we announced the move to Ronin network, which is obviously probably the biggest single thing that we did in 2023. And yeah, it's been such an amazing move. And we can talk and reflect on that a bit more. Yeah, throughout September and October, we were super busy getting everything ready. We fully migrated to the Ronin network on, I think, October 31st was the day.
Like Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween.
The day before Halloween, like maybe 29th or something.
I think
we were talking, we were like, wait, we should let them maybe go out on Halloween or something. Like, so maybe try to get it. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
It was really memorable for me because I was leaving home to go to Asia that day. And I was like, yo, I think it's going to work. And boom. I remember like landing and checking the first day's metrics. And I was like, yo, what? Like Ronin daily active addresses just spiked to 30K from 15K, right? So it's like it doubled overnight.
Yeah, it's crazy too. I remember before the carnival, I was like, okay, our DAU number that we want to hit is like 30K. If we start getting that, I'm gonna be so happy. I will think this is like a total success. And yeah, clearly we've gotten quite past that number now, which is really awesome to see that. And yeah, I think like some of the stuff around the pets was surprising to me too. I had like this idea of like, you know, where they would land. And yeah, I definitely exceeded expectations around that as well. When we started seeing like the first pets get minted and go on the marketplace, that was super exciting.
Yeah, 1st of November was a big kickoff in users, and like Pixel blew up.
Yeah, in November, we launched like a few new features. We also announced guilds. And that is so close to actually fully launching. We're saving that one for the release of the Pixel token. We'll start to dive into that a little bit more. And then, yeah, just
So yeah, you will need Pixel token to join a guild, to buy membership to a guild. So make sure to have some saved up for that.
December, lots more happened too. We had that Christmas event that was super fun. We launched Mochaverse, and we continue to build out Pixel's reputation. So yeah, all that to say, like, I am so thankful for all of you guys who are here playing the game every single day, who are here experimenting with us. Pixels, I like to frame it as one giant experiment. And our players are truthfully the guinea pigs, but it's also interesting because you're the builders too. Like, we take all of your feedback extremely seriously because it's the most important superpower that we have as a game and as a community. Like, we're building this all together. So yeah, we're super thankful that you're here with us on the journey. We're going to continue to be like super plugged in the community to learn, you know, what we can do to make the game as best as possible and experiment with all of you guys as well too. So yeah, I'm curious, you know, if you have any thoughts or reflections on Ronin and, you know, maybe this relationship over 2023.
Well, definitely, man. I mean, I mentioned, right, that I was super thankful for you guys, right? That was when I was doing my year-end gratitude exercise, right? I was like, yeah, I'm thankful for Pixels. I'm thankful for Luke and Heidi and the entire team for grinding, for also taking a leap of faith, right? Because it was still a unproven hypothesis that we could use the tactics and momentum and convert the community from Axie to other IPs, to other experiences, right? And it really worked. So that was, you know, it doesn't, you know, it really changes the calculus for the Ronin network, the narrative. It's just made it so much more apparent that this is the best place to launch, to build, to grow a Web3 game. And that was all theory. It all sounded good on paper in the early parts of 2023, even as we announced DPoS and, you know, our initial game partners. But it was really with Pixels that it was like, okay, wow, this is gonna work. So yeah, really grateful to you guys, really grateful to the community, and really, it was amazing to see the two communities merge, right? Because it was like you already had a formidable community, and to see them make friends and befriend the members of our community, that was really special for me. And
yeah,
you know, maybe one story
really well.
Yeah, it was a natural fit, right? It's like, it's a culture, right? That's what I'm saying, is like a lot of chains, they're maybe recruiting or, you know, trying to attract builders based on superficial things, whereas we're attracting based on culture and attitude, right? And that's how you build a winning organization, right? So it's like, why wouldn't that be how you build a winning chain, the king of the gaming chains, right? Maybe it would be a cultural orientation and mechanism of attraction that would work. What's that? Another story that I really remember, or that really stood out to me, was when I went to the Philippines. Right, it was, you know, the Philippines is a region that gets no respect in Web3 gaming, right? It's like scholarships, that's so 2021, that's not gonna work.
Shout out to the Filipino community, JF gang.
But, you know, when we were looking at the Google Analytics data, it was like, wow, like 30% of these players are from the Philippines. Like, the Philippines is back with a vengeance. And I really saw that on the ground in the Philippines, right? So I saw people at our meetup playing Pixels on their phone. We had a Axie/Ronin booth at the YGG event, and the Pixel stickers, right? Those were always like the first to be snatched up and grabbed, right? So to actually meet the players on the ground, it made it way more concrete as well. And so yeah, you know, and I think it was like, I think it's proving that there's a certain type of team, there's a certain type of mentality, there's a certain type of way of building that works for Web3 gaming. And if we can figure out what that is that works, right, as an industry, as a chain, as an organization, as a community, if we can figure that out, figure out this playbook and figure out how to replicate it, right, then boom, we'll create a new industry, we'll change gaming forever. And so that's kind of how I think about Pixels, and what the migration really proved on Ronin, showed to the entire world, showed to the industry. So yeah, it was amazing, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's interesting because like I would tell people that we were moving to Ronin, and at first there's a bit of pushback, which is interesting. And yeah, there's no pushback anymore. I think everybody kind of gets it now.
Honestly, right? Like that was the thing, right? Is like there was some baggage, right? You have six years, you know, we were blockchain gaming, right? So all the problems that you associate with blockchain gaming, you could attach to Ronin, right? Because we're the only ones in the arena actually shipping things, right? So it's like, oh, blockchain gaming, unsustainable. Look at what happened. Look at Axie, right? Etc. Right? But it's, you know, blockchain gaming has problems, right? Those problems are associated in many cases with our products, because our products are the only ones that are actually known by anybody. But these are actually all problems that we need to solve together as an industry.
Yeah, no, I feel that too with like what some people say about us sometimes, that I see where it's like, okay, yeah, this is an issue, but like this is an every Web3 game issue. And yeah, that's what you get for being first mover, right? So yeah, that's great. And yeah, I'm super thankful that we made this happen. So let's maybe move on a little bit and let's talk about 2024 and what the plans are. So I posted a tweet yesterday. Me personally, and at Pixels too, honestly, I think we can really boil down 2024 to one singular goal. We really want to see if we can expand upon the play to earn model. I think there's still a ton of potential there. And I think play to earn, it's interesting because there's been a lot of industry like back and forth around like that term, right? It's kind of a dirty term at this point. But
it's shocking. That's good. Right? It's like it's memorable. I will take credit. I used it in an article back in January of 2020. 2020, yeah, sounds right. I read, the evolution of play to earn, play to earn times DeFi, right? And, so I'll take credit for the invention of this, controversial term. It's good, right? It causes controversy, it causes a debate, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting because I think that's had the industry like over-indexed in the other direction at some point too. But as we've been building us as Pixels in the space for a little bit, like we've kind of come to the realization that we really should be focusing on like what the actual value add in Web3 is and the interesting like game-changing mechanics in Web3. And then I think a lot about like value distribution. I think a lot about like traditional UA strategies in gaming where all the money just goes to advertisers. It's super inefficient. And yeah, that's the thing I've just become so obsessed with. So for us, like we're really focused on seeing like, okay, are there, ways that we can do it with our game that, are a bit more sustainable? And it's going to require a lot of iteration, a lot of trying things out. And, we might not, like our hit rate will not be 100% of Pixels. I can guarantee that. All of our experiments that we're going to try, they're not all going to work. But I hope with our community, what we've established is that we're going to keep trying stuff. We're going to continue to show up, and we do things very quickly. We take risks, and sometimes the risks don't always work out. But yeah, that's really our approach. So yeah, we're going to be making a lot of changes to the game in 2024. There's things that we see that are working. There's also things that we see that aren't working. Like for example, I'm looking at Berry, and I know we need changes to those systems right now if we want to really create like a sustainable ecosystem. And it's not easy to make these changes. And these are the things that we're thinking about a lot in 2024. So in 2024 at Pixels, what I can say is, we are in a really great spot where we actually get to start to pour a bit more fire on the gas. We are lucky enough to, and we'll make some more clear announcements soon, but we have like a bit more runway. We have a bit more room that we can play with. We can start to expand team. We can start to expand resources, and we can start to make a few more bets at a higher pace than what we were making before. So, we really get to see and, follow up on some of the things we've been trying to follow up on. That maybe we're resource limited around before. And for us, what that looks like is we want to focus on a few different areas. There's a lot of gameplay that we want to build out. So we have the Chapter 2 release, which is coming in, I want to say like 2 months is probably the safer release date to say. But what Chapter 2 is going to bring in is a lot of changes to the economics. It's also going to bring in changes to like endgame in Pixels 2. What we've been missing in Pixels for a long time is more convincing endgame. Right now, a lot of the reasons that people, participate or burn berry is with the goal of like creating industries that and ultimately generate more berry. And there's some fun play in the economics of that gameplay. We also want to start to introduce like just other types of gameplay to participate in, and other syncs in the long run as well too. So we've been thinking about like the MMO model, like vertical slices, and just like building out more and more things to do in the game. And we're also making key changes to a lot of the like initial systems of economics and Pixels as well too, where we're doing some things like completely changing how berry is generated, or like in resources are generated. We're completely changing like progression inside of the game too. Like for right now, if you play the game, everybody has the same watering can. Everybody has like the same like shears, things like that. We're gonna start to introduce resource tiering, tool tiering, all of that. It's gonna feel a lot more like an MMO. So we're really
Resource tiering and tool tiering, what he means is that you will have better shearing, better watering can, like basic watering can, extra good watering can, and so on. So to harvest or to farm like a tier 3 crop, you will need at least tier 3 tools, for example. That's what he means.
Excited for these changes. We think they'll make a big difference. And then we have a couple of other cool things too coming, and we'll talk about in the next stage. So in the next month, what you can start to expect is we're going to be running Play-to-Airdrop. We're going to have like the pixel token. What you can start to expect is we're going to be running Play-to-Airdrop, and a big difference. And then we have a couple of other cool things too coming, and we'll talk about in the next stage. So in the next month, what you can start to expect is we're going to be running Play-to-Airdrop.
So he said we have Play-to-Airdrop next month. What? We are expecting it today. What does he mean?
We're going to have like the pixel token, and there's a whole host of things with that. But I'm curious what you guys see happening in 2024 for like Ronin and Sky Mavis.
And also a big change in Chapter 2 is that lands will be private to guilds. So all the TIF lands will be closed. Only TIF members can farm on them. So that would be interesting to see what happens, because most of the lands are TIF lands.
Yeah, I mean, 2024 is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. I think on the Ronin side, it's like, let's double down. Let's get new communities that are gonna amplify the chain, that are gonna attract better builders. One of the things that we saw, right, is like when Pixels came to Ronin, that also was huge for the revitalization and the reactivation of the Axie community, right? So I think like there's just gonna be more and more network effect, right, where we bring in other quality game studios and games that are synergistic with Axie, with Pixels, with the other games that are on Ronin, and I think it's just doubling down on the lead, right? Because this is a content acquisition play, right? And content acquisition is all about like network effects, right? And like making sure that, right, like people, it's like actually like that the system is broken, right? Where like the meta for the last 2 years has been like the chains have to pay the developers usually, right, to come on. But actually, right, like the developers should be, looking to, if it's actually a model that works, it's like they're looking to go to the platforms for distribution, right? So like iterating on that model, doubling down on what has been working, right? Trying to find the next the next pixels, right? It was always about the next Axie. Now it's like, okay, what is going to be the next pixels, and how does that help Axie and pixels and everything else in the ecosystem, right? A lot of it will be through aligned incentives, right? I was just posting about how you guys have 1.5 million RON, right? So it's like, if we're doing things that help the ecosystem, that help the RON value accrual, it's going to be good for all the community members and developers within the ecosystem. So yeah, I think like, you know, that's a big thing that we're focused on the Ronin side of things. And maybe one leak or one thing to think about is, you know, we when we talk about like play to earn, right? We also, that's almost synonymous with like the scholar system. And one of the things that we never did last cycle was have like a really interesting working systematic programmatic system of rentals for Axies, now for land, right? So that's also something that other teams, maybe potentially Pixels, could leverage, right? Is basically some sort of a protocol level NFT renting system that's 10x better than any product that exists on the market, right? I think that would be something that we could build, deploy, and iterate on in 2024. That would like unlock a lot of growth for both, for all the games on Ronin, basically.
Nice, that's amazing. Yeah, no, I'm super excited about that, and maybe that leads into the next stages too. So, you know, for the next like little bit, let's talk about like specifically Pixels, what's going on for the next month. So, yeah, there's a couple of big things that we're doing. One, Play-to-Airdrop Season 2. We're starting that tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
That's crazy, right?
Tomorrow, Play-to-Airdrop.
So we're getting into the final stages of the Pixel token. It's coming. It's happening. We can't share everything about it, but we're really excited about this next stages, and that's going to be huge. This is what we've been working for at Pixels for 2 years now, to make sure that we have a game that can use this token and to really see what a token can do for user acquisition, for Web3 gaming growth. Like for my singular mission of proving out the play to earn model and really seeing if we can like be part of the people who help evolve this model, we need this token out. I'm really dedicating like my life to this, and this is the next stage, right? So we're there. We want to give rewards to the people who have been playing Pixels over the last couple of months, and we
I'm playing Pixels for 14 months now.
I want to give you one more chance to do that. We ran a Play-to-Airdrop Season 1 a long time ago. It was like over a year ago now. So we want to make...
I got rank 2200 something in that Play-to-Airdrop.
Good on their promise to all those people. They're getting all their allocation, and they should have that visible. And we're probably gonna do it right before TGE when you'll see the actual allocation. Same thing with like the Season 2. So you'll play, you'll get these points, you'll see what these points turn into right before the TGE.
And of course, I will make a video guide on how to get as many points as possible for this Play-to-Airdrop, so you get as much pixel as possible.
So for this particular Play-to-Airdrop Season 2, it's going to be a bit smaller in allocation. Also, the commitment's going to be a little bit less. How we ran the previous one was it accidentally turned into a complete grind fest. We made it so that people had to play like 24/7 to keep up and stay until leaderboard. It was very competitive. That's not what we want this time. We learned a lot of lessons from the last time. So we really just want like 15 to like 30 minutes of gameplay a day to maintain eligibility. And what we'll probably end up doing is like it might even end up more like a raffle system. So we'll give some more details on what exactly this looks like. We want everybody to feel like they have a chance.
No more raffle systems. I hate that. Like other did was like luck based on what resources you get and what rewards you get with your in your other boxes. Genesis pets were a raffle, like the whole carnival was a raffle, and I didn't win anything, even though I used like thousands of tickets. And this one, the mocha batteries are a raffle. Like, come on, guys, I'm sick of luck based.
to get in. This is like our gratitude to everybody who's been playing over the last couple of months who are new to Pixels, for you to get some exposure as well. And then there's some other stuff that we're going to be doing that we can't talk about now as well. But just to say that there's some really exciting stuff when it comes to like all of this coming up. So with this too, this is maybe the time to bring this up. We're also announcing that we're going to be opening up a bridge from ETH to Ronin for the land NFTs. It's going to be completely optional, not required to do it.
What?
Just to make sure that I'm not spreading misinformation. The bridge is 2 ways too, correct? So it's a 2-way bridge, and this is going to be something that's optional for landowners. But for the people who want land on Ronin, which there actually is a good amount of people who want to have land on Ronin, this is your option to do it.
So they will generate NFT lands on Ronin. Like, you can move, if you have land on Ethereum, you will be able to move them on Ronin. I don't understand why would you do that. But maybe we will get some cheap lands on Ronin and we can move them back on Ethereum. But yeah, sus.
So yeah, we're really excited.
I hope they won't limit pixel generation only to Ronin lands. That would be very bad.
About the possibilities of this, and I've been really excited to see like what this potentially unlocks for the land too. Basically, land is going multi-chain.
Like, why would you do this?
It's going to open up liquidity in 2 different chains, and there is a lot of liquidity on the Ronin chain that I don't think people are quite aware of. Do you have the stats off the top of your head on Ronin NFT volume? Because I've seen those charts of like all-time volume of NFTs. And I don't think people understand how insane it is, just like what Axi's done and what Ronin's done.
I mean, there's been $4.3 billion of NFT volume on the Ronin chain, right? And almost all of that is from Axie. Axie is actually in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Volume does not equal to money, because you can trade one NFT 10 times for 1 Ethereum each time. Trade it to your own wallets, and it will count as 10 Ethereum volume. Like, it's nothing. What I want to say is that you can fake volume by trading a lot of the same NFT with the same money.
The number 1 NFT project of all time by volume. And one way to think about it, I mean, let's think about right now. Right now, the Axie marketplace is doing around 1,400 ETH per month over the last 30 days, right? So there are a lot of whales in the Ronin ecosystem. So I personally, right, I think I own 4 land plots, but it's like, yeah, if it was on Ronin, I would definitely buy some more. And I think there are a lot of people.
There are Ronin Axie specific whales. So I will say the stats in our game too. We announced that we were moving to Ronin, right? And we had some Ronin players decide to like come onto Polygon and come into the game and play it. We didn't actually get the DAU increase until the assets that we had on Ronin were on Ronin. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen when land moves to Ronin.
And I also like, this is maybe a good time to reiterate, right? Like that we're really interested in basically deploying some sort of a NFT renting protocol that could be generalized and suited for your needs, right? So I know that some people are using different, some people are bringing, some people are using like different services to rent out their land. But there are a lot of problems, right? There's no automated reward splits in a lot of cases, or it's super custodial. So we're working on basically some sort of a solution that could hopefully be basically applied to Pixel's landowners to make that experience even better. And yeah, it's our job to make it so that Ronin is the best place to have your Pixels land. So that's something that we're really interested in.
Yeah, that maybe touching on
not forcing. Yeah.
No, this is a great question, Noah Ralston. Basically asking like, are there other benefits of being on Ronin? It's this kind of stuff that this team is planning around. Like you guys kind of tied it into like the idea of scholarship programs, right? But maybe a bit more abstract. But yeah, there's some really interesting like benefits of being on Ronin that they're developing out that aren't even necessarily related to like liquidity, anything like that. And then yeah, we're also, I think there's gonna be some rewards for bridging as well.
Yeah, so well, you know, we're interested in making sure that it makes that you know people are excited about potentially migrating their land to Ronin. So you know, I would expect some sort of a rewards program for those that do choose to migrate.
Sweet. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, more than happy to answer it. Seems like reception's pretty positive. And yeah, I'll be in Discord in the Land Under channel and stuff like this after the AMA as well. So yeah, I think we just dropped a lot, right? I see a few questions. When are you going to release the allocation for players from Play-to-Airdrop Season 1? I can't handle the wait. Please don't ignore me. I didn't ignore you. Yeah, so it's coming right before TGE. I'm telling you guys, this is the closest we've been. And yeah, I think when things start getting announced, I don't think anybody's going to be upset at us. So that's all that I can say about the actual date of TGE. But it's very, very soon. Things are pretty good right now.
I would expect the TGE to come in like 1 month and a half. Like the Play-to-Airdrop will start tomorrow. It will last 2-3 weeks, something like that, and then they will need 2 weeks at least to ban bots and multi-accounters. So yeah, TGE at least 1 month from now.
I personally am like pretty happy with the state of everything. So that's all I can say on that. But yeah, you'll get your allocation just before the token generation event, basically. Won't make a difference because even if you get the allocation before, you won't be able to, the token won't be on chain until the token generation event anyways, right? So yeah, it's close enough where we feel pretty good about making you wait a little bit. I'm sorry. And yeah, we'll be moving on to the next stages quite soon. Okay, let's pull up some more questions. Also, I saw some interesting questions before too, which I thought might be cool to bring up. Somebody asked earlier in the Discord channel, can we have some elements of correlated economy, like use cases for SLP inside of Pixels or Berry inside of Axie games? That would be a good experiment. I will say one note that I saw is I see a lot of players on the Ronin ecosystem already kind of experimenting with this, where like they'll earn money or they'll earn like Berry in Pixels, then they'll like change it into like SLP, use it in Axie, things like that. Like Katana's already kind of operating as like its own metagame, which I love that. I think that's kind of the goal, right?
It's like a shared grand exchange, right? That across the different, across the different IPs in our ecosystem in a way. Wow, we have like 2,700 people and watching. That's really amazing. Shout out to everybody who made it out.
Somebody wants to know where you can get the t-shirt from. I don't know what t-shirt you have on.
Yeah, well, you know, we made these as an experiment and it seems like people want them, so noted. My mic is working, right? There was someone who said that my mic is not working, but people can hear me, right?
Yeah, I think so. So somebody's asking us, will players who entered without VIP be eligible for the token drop? The answer is yes, but I will say there will be a reputation multiplier on the airdrop points. So obviously if VIP increases your reputation right now, we still want to make you, if you don't have VIP, have a chance. Like the whole point is we want to reward loyal players and players that...
So you heard that reputation will have a multiplier. So what I understand is we will earn some points. Like let's say we earn 1,000 points, and depending on how much reputation we have, we will get more pixel token. So let's say if you have 1,000 reputation, we will double our points, or double the pixel we get. And if we have 2000 reputation, for example, maybe we'll get 3 times as much pixels or something like that. That's what he means with multiplier. So reputation will be worth like even more than how many points you get, because it will double or triple your points. So make sure to get your reputation. I have a video made especially for that.
To complain.
And I have some alpha on how to get even more reputation, and I will share it in the video for the Play-to-Airdrop.
The game with some of what we're doing, right? Like that was the whole point of season 1. That's why we're doing season 2. And yeah, we'll make sure that people who have been participating inside of Pixels feel good about what we're doing. That's kind of the whole point. If you're a loyal, active player, you're the exact person that we want to be, rewarding. If you like the game, if you like what you're doing here, you're probably like the ideal target that we want to be hitting. It's interesting. I was just on the AMA earlier today, and we talked about Play-to-Airdrop. And yeah, Play-to-Airdrop was like, I don't know if we set the meta, because I know Axie did a huge airdrop before. But yeah, Play-to-Airdrop was like something that we had like talked about a lot. We were really early on when it comes to this like new wave of meta, like a year and a half ago, obviously. That's why a lot of you guys are here watching. That's what like people kind of found out about us from. And it's interesting to see how this...
True. I found out about Pixels because one of my friends wanted the referral points from the Play-to-Airdrop. And yeah, the rest is history.
System is like evolving a little bit, right? We learned so many lessons when we ran this the first time around who are the right people to target for an event like this, who are like the right people to reward. And you're taking lessons from this into season 2. We're taking lessons from this into basically how we distribute Pixel on like a regular basis too. I think that's like the big question in Play to Earn. It's like you can give out rewards to a lot of people if you give them out to the right people. If you give them out to the wrong people, that's when it becomes a bit more of an issue.
It's really secure. I always see it as like half user acquisition budget, but then also half like security budget, right? Because it's like, Bitcoin is the original play to earn, right? Like, don't overthink it, right? It's like, so when we're thinking about like, how do you make play to earn work? I always try to go back to like first principles of things that kind of already work, right? It was just like Bitcoin works. Like, how is it possible that Bitcoin is worth a lot of money, but people can just earn it using electricity and like solving math problems with their GPUs, right? Like there has to be some sort of a value creation and contribution, right? In Bitcoin mining, it's like security, right? We thought but you can think about that as a game too, right? It's like nobody plays a game, the game is going to die. So like the tokens can also be seen as a security budget in that way, but right, it's also like, boom, there's like proof of stake, there's proof of contribution, proof of content creation, proof of building, right? There are all these different things and so many different archetypes, and you want to encourage those archetypes, but you don't want, obviously it's like a balance, right? And it's like optimizing with the different levers to make sure that you're incentivizing the right behaviors, creating the right culture as well, right? These are all some of the considerations.
100%. Okay, I'm looking through a few more questions. There's some good stuff here. People ask so often this question, Axie as a pet in Pixels. I'm actually pretty open to it if we have like a good implementation. I feel like I was always thinking about like, okay, if we do integrations or like interoperability with Axie, like one, I think it needs to be special because Axie is the strongest IP in Web3 by far. So we don't want to treat it just like a normal thing where it's like, oh, we did this. We want to look great. We want them to be special. Pets might be the interesting use case for that rather than like avatars. If we did it that way, we'd have to think about what that actual implementation would look like. But all I'll say is I'm open to it. And yeah, that's like the fun stuff that we get to experiment with over the next year.
Yeah, thanks for adding me to the game. By the way, that was my first time ever being in a game before. So it was a special moment, and also like to be having a butterfly net. I showed it to my dad. My dad was like, "You guys are nuts." that's all he said. Like, you guys are nuts. But yeah.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, somebody's asking about dungeons. So yeah, that's good. So chapter 2 on our end, honestly, it might make sense for us to release it as like chapter 2, chapter 2.5, maybe name dungeons as chapter 3. We want to get these economic changes out in the game as quick as possible because obviously there's a lot of people playing and we need to make some changes to economics. So what our plan is we're probably splitting it up into 2 pieces. Chapter 2, the first piece will be these core changes to economics and the integration with guilds too. I'm so excited to get these guilds features out. I don't think Ronin Network is ready for social-fi and like what that means. That's gonna be really
Ronin is not ready for thief, guys.
exciting when we get that out. We're gonna
I think we're ready. I think we're ready in terms of being able to handle the transactions and all that.
Oh yeah, in terms of tech, you're ready. But this is gonna be like some pretty new stuff if you guys haven't been participating in some of the other ETH ecosystems. I'm really excited to get that out. I'm pretty sure it's gonna grab a lot of attention when we have that.
You're definitely like aligned with me because a lot of people like looked at like friend tech or whatever. They're like, yo, that's stupid, right? But I actually think that if you squint, it's like, yo, there's something actually really interesting here. It's, I'm actually like not just only into Web3 games, right? Actually, like one of the ways that I learned and met a lot of people, I was a kind of a blockchain newbie in 2018. And I actually became like a DeFi influencer in the first early days of DeFi with like synthetics and MakerDAO. Just when Uniswap just came out. And I remember like, Sushi Swap and like the food farms and like Yam and stuff like that. And I kind of see like friend tech as like that for for SocialFi, right? Like a lot of the DeFi stuff looked kind of crazy. But now it's just like foundational, kind of almost cookie cutter, almost boring kind of infrastructure that we take for granted, right? So I think that there is actually a lot to be discovered or a lot to be explored when it comes to social gamification and tokenization.
So what's the relevance to pixels? Even if you don't know, friend tech is a thing that you can buy access to a platform, and the more people that buy in, the more expensive it gets to buy in, and you can buy like more of it. It's like buying shares to a company. And why is this relevant is because Luke wants to do the same with guilds. So your membership to get in a guild will cost pixel, but it will cost more and more pixel the more memberships are out on the market. And you can buy more than one membership, for example, if you want to sell later for a higher price. So it will also give a speculation it will give a space to speculate on guilds and to invest in a guild's future and so on. And also they will price out some members out of a guild, and that's why TIF will have to create more guilds, also because we are a lot of players. We are more players than Luke wants to allow in one single guild. And also everyone will buy TIF memberships because they know we are the biggest guilds with the biggest whales, and they want to just buy in so they can sell after for profits. But for each sale, the guild will have a 5% cut into our treasury, so it will benefit us after all, and we will use it to grow our lands and put high tier industries on the guild farms.
Exactly. I mean, what we were doing was like we were looking at things that we saw in Web3 that got attention. We looked into the why, and instead of just saying, okay, these things clearly didn't work and like dismissing them and never looking at it again, it's like, okay, well, why didn't these work? Is there like a way that you could make it work? Like clearly they hit on something interesting. And there's like more stuff like that we're looking at too.
Yeah, it's like, Steve Jobs looked at the cell phone market, and it wasn't like, yo, these cell phones suck. I'm gonna keep focusing on iPods and computers. He's like, yo, why do these cell phones suck? And how would we build one that doesn't suck, right? Or,
This person keeps asking about like changes to economics. So and like what we're going to be doing about things like Barry, and getting a few questions about that. So core thing that we need to be doing is we need to start giving like more reasons to use resources inside of the game. Like there needs to be more compelling end game. It's interesting because Stardew Valley is a game concept. I love it. When it's just a multiplayer game, when you have like live economics, it doesn't quite work in a way that we originally had thought. Where the core things in the game right now are cosmetics typically, and then there's some other things too. Like we have transaction fees in the marketplace, transaction fees on withdrawal, deposit, that kind of stuff that burns a bit of the token. We have like discoverability, like there's a good amount here. But the point of Stardew Valley is to become like a billionaire in the game, right? And that doesn't necessarily work in like an open economy unless you have other elements too. So what we think a lot about is adding elements of risk, adding elements of like end game or like more consistent sinks. Like, are there reasons that we can create situations, one where there's like winners and there's losers too? Like in a game, you can't just win all the time, right? Like if you want some more interesting like gameplay, adding in elements of risk, adding in winners and losers and certain gameplay aspects is the interesting stuff too. So that's kind of our game plan with these dungeons in the long run too. Like these dungeons are going to look a bit more like, it's not PvP, it's more like economic PvP among guilds. But that's the kind of stuff that we're interested in. It's like, okay, can we create systems where people have to compete for different things? Like some people reap the benefits, some people don't always do it. So yeah, we think about that a lot. Somebody's asking for a specific date about TGE and airdrops. I can't give a specific date for TGE yet, or like when we do the listing. You'll probably get it in the next week or two, is what I'll say. That's the ideal situation. That's kind of alpha there. So yeah, we're excited about the next stages. Promise you, it's almost there. And yeah, just stick along.
That's sooner than
having gone through this process back in 2020. Right, it's like there's a lot of things up in the air, right? So yeah, please be patient with Luke. He wants he wants to be able to share as much as possible with you guys, but there are just certain things that need to remain under wraps due to a variety of reasons.
That's way too soon. A week or two.
Let's see. Just trying to see if we can pull some more questions.
But yeah, dungeons could be fun if they do them well. Dungeons have a lot of potential. Like to get tier 6 and tier 5 resources, you should do dungeons. Like there is
we use Barry to purchase IRL merch. Yeah, that is something we've been thinking about. Certain things like that. Maybe not for Barry, but maybe for Pixel. We think about burn mechanisms a lot, and like what we can be doing for that kind of stuff. People really liked our merch. We just got merch out to people as well. I got my Axie merch, my code Axie merch in the mail like a couple days ago too.
Oh, nice, man. You gotta rep it. I haven't got mine yet. So.
Probably rush to it. But yeah, I mean, there's always like interesting IRL ways that you can do token stuff too. And like, we're always interested in that kind of stuff, like prize pools, things like that as well.
We played the left-right game IRL in the Philippines. That was amazing. I want to do like a Axie/Pixels themed meetup. I think that'd be sick.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, no, I'm keen to do something like that. Yeah, I think we'll probably. I was so sad we missed the YGG event. That I wish I could have gone to. I was just so deep in the weeds at that point where it didn't really make sense for me to be doing that.
Yeah. Like always, keep your travel diet, very, very strategic, right? It's like travel is awesome and it's great to connect with the community, but too much of it is also distracting, right? And you're also like doing a lot of technical stuff, whereas mainly I just have to be with the community. That's kind of like my chief responsibilities.
Okay, so yeah, we have a few more questions. Let's do like 5 more minutes of questions, and Yeah, maybe we can go into a bit more of this too. So somebody asked specifically, what's the criteria to qualify for season 2 of the Play-to-Airdrop? So how it's going to work, if you haven't seen it before, is we're going to have a whole dashboard. It's going to be so obvious how to qualify. Basically, you're going to get like a list of tasks that you can do, and you'll have some stuff that are like, we call them badges, but basically you'll earn badges. And it might be things like, farming X amount of scarrets. It might be things like having a quest done. Like you'll probably, when you open up this dashboard, already have some badges that are done if you've been an active player. So you'll see exactly what you need to do to qualify. I think what we're probably going to do, and this is like the thing we need to confirm by tomorrow, is it's either going to be open to a limited amount of people, so about like 7,000 is what we're thinking. 7 to 10,000. Do a leaderboard, or what we could do is if you hit over a certain number of points, you become eligible in a raffle. And I think that's what we're leaning to more. So if you guys have feedback on that, if you'd rather see a leaderboard where you have to grind through it, or if you would rather have like more of a random chance if you hit like a certain amount of points, that way feels a bit more achievable. Let us know your feedback on that one, because that one we can be a bit flexible on. We're trying to decide that one. The leaderboards, if you haven't done a leaderboard before, they can be fun. They can also be grueling. What we don't want people to have to do is stay up 24/7 and not sleep. But some of you also like that, which is weird. Some of you really like the grinding. We saw it with Left Right.
I totally get it, to be honest. My mom, I don't know if I told you this story. My mom sent me to boarding school because I was raiding WoW and when I was in middle school, but I don't know. Like I think like WoW is kind of casual friendly now, right? But back then it was not. It was we would raid until 5 a.m. and then I would go to school. It was like a meme, right? It's like, anyways, so people like that, right? It's like they feel proud of being hardcore. Right? Probably, especially people in our communities like that, right?
Yeah, no, it seems like in the comments, people are leaning towards leaderboard. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, I get it too, because I grew up playing RuneScape, and that's really just absolute grind of the game, and that's really it. I spent like hours of my life fishing. I was like just fishing for like 2 hours a day at one point for like months and months. And that's just like sitting in like a little spot, just clicking back and forth.
Yeah,
kind of
I
like
don't want more luck systems.
and I loved it.
Is there anything you can tell us? Maybe I'll ask some questions too. Well, I'm excited about as a Pixels player, right? As someone, I haven't had too much time to dive into it, but I feel like I'm waiting for like the dungeons update. So what can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so how it's going to work is like the way that we like to build is we like to release early, often, and quickly, and make things better. So the first iteration won't be like the most amazing dungeon experience you've ever played, but it'll be coming out like relatively quickly, right? And then we'll start to add more and more to it. What we won't have in the first stages is like direct PvP combat. That's more what we're focusing on in chapter 3. But then we can start to add in that PvP combat in chapter 3 too. So first iteration of the dungeons will be mostly like around exploration and around like economic PvP. It's gonna be tied in with the guilds slightly. Basically how they're gonna work is, we're introducing we're reworking the entire progression system in the core game loop. So there's gonna be like resource tiering. So basically like gold, diamond, like platinum, like amethyst armor, things like that, amethyst tools that are like much better. And these resources will be available on different tiers of land. So the free to play land, the specs will have like, the wood tooling, the bronze tooling, if you play the game like that. The NFT land will progress and have like different resources available to it. So then there's gonna be this like special type of resource that's only available in lands that you explore through the dungeons. And that's gonna be what these guilds compete for, to get basically the best types of resources.
Told you.
Mind blowing. I'm actually really happy that I asked that question. For me, like the dungeons, trying to get as far as possible, doing speed runs. I heard something about PvP. Those are all like really up my alley. I was as a child, I was like really into Diablo, and I was like one of the top werewolf duelers on the US East. And that's kind of like what drove the economy, right? Is like the very, very specific need for certain dueling items at the highest levels of the game. I always like, I'm gonna act like a community member here, right? I also always really thought that something that would be sick in a Web3 environment is like RuneScape's duel arena, because that was literally the burn mechanism that you can think of it as a burn mechanism that was so fucking effective that they had to remove it from the game. But like that's like the thing that we need in Web3. I actually saw some project. I'm not gonna mention its name because I don't remember, and it's not on Ronin. But I saw some project kind of like working on something like that, and I'm sure the core code is open source. The smart contract, so that could be something that's right for porting over.
Yeah, no, I think about that a lot too. I call it degen mechanics internally, and it's interesting is like, yeah, a lot of people want that. We get asked that a lot. There's like some things we have to be cautious about when we think about things like that, especially if we have a US audience. That probably is not okay. So there's some things to like lock down there, but yeah, I think about that a lot. We definitely are interested in that type of gameplay if we do it in the right way, and if we do it smartly, basically.
For sure.
Okay, so any final questions in the chat? Otherwise, we might start to wrap this up. There's a lot of stuff going on. People are asking about Genesis pet utility. So chapter 3 is where we're going to really shift focus to the pets, and you'll start to see like stronger stuff around them. Oh, so the cool thing about Pixels now is like, I would say that we're in a stronger position than we were even a few months ago when it comes to the bets that we can make and the things that we can work on. We're probably going to make some internal changes to the team where right now we have one team. This team works on, everything kind of in parallel. This team is extremely talented, and this team can get a lot done clearly, right? What we're probably going to start to do is we're probably going to get 2 teams inside of our Pixels now, where we have one that's doing content and live ops, and one that's working on entirely new things. So we can start to speed up our build process a bit more. One of the things that is the most distracting for our devs is like getting all this content out. That is great content to have, doesn't move the needle in the same way as some of these features. So we should be able to move on this stuff a bit quicker. It's going to take a bit of time to ramp up, but that's kind of my goal internally, 2024 too, to like really start to speed up some of the experiments that we can take. See if we can like get better live ops out. So that means just like better content, like all the stuff on top of the new systems that we're creating.
I like it. Live ops and inventions, right? Like, it's a good way to think about it. I'm learning. one of my New Year's resolution, my Pixels resolution is to have an energy party on one of my land plots. I still need to figure out like which is my favorite land plot. Like I need to spruce it up. I have a lot of work to do actually in the Pixels universe. What is the name of the universe again? Or
the main town is called Terra Villa.
Oh, yeah, Terra Villa. Okay, so I have a lot of work to do in Terra Villa this year.
Yeah, you might. People might riot, honestly, if we give that to you. It's a big deal to have an energy party on your land.
I will give. If there's any monetary benefit, I will give it to the people.
Part of the main system is like it drives top of funnel. There's like a whole land economy, right? So it drives top of funnel to your land. You start getting the surplus because people bookmark your land. It's a cool system in place right now. It's been cool to see how well it's been working, that specific one. We're excited to see how that goes with guilds too. I'm really excited to see like what that relationship between landowner and guild owner looks like. Because now guilds are really going to want to use landowners' lands when we have that part out. It's going to be exciting to see that.
Sick.
Okay, amazing. Well, I guess now is probably a good time to start closing up and wrapping up. I just want to thank everybody for coming out to this AMA again. We do these every single week if you haven't been following along. The next month is going to be busy. So We might even start to do multiple AMAs. Like I was on an AMA earlier, I was on like a Twitter space earlier this week. We might start to like mix up the time zone a little bit. I know the people in the Philippines, it's super early or late for you right now. I think it's like 4 a.m. when we run them. So it might be making some sense to start doing them at like other times as well. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining. Thanks so much, Shio, for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I was thinking that, for our community, for the Ronin community, a slot that really works is like, it's going to be early for you, but like 6 a.m. PST. Or night, yeah, basically that would be kind of like evening in Asia, right? It's afternoon in Europe, and morning in the U.S. and the West and kind of South America. So this like not around 9 a.m. Eastern time is kind of when the entire world is awake for a moment, right? I think that's why like Blizzard does their releases around then too. So
that makes sense. Yeah, I'll suck it up. I'll do it once or twice.
I think I think the last time we were on this together, I think you were awake and it was like 5 a.m. or something.
Oh yeah, no, that happens. I mean, yeah, it's funny because I've gone through like different periods of grind in my life, right? Like that used to be my thing. I used to never sleep.
Are you like an optimizer, bro? Or I heard some rumors that you like are in the cold and are in the ice bath a lot. Like,
oh yeah, I have one at my house. I like turned a freezer into one. I sauna almost every day.
Oh what? Yeah, you need to tell me about your setup. Like actually, like I just asked my wife that for like my birthday, like I want like a sick like cold plunge setup. So yeah, anyways. Not really related, but
no, yeah. Something that's how you build in Web3. You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta be mentally sharp. You gotta ice bath.
I like let's do it. There was the ice bucket challenge. Like maybe we can have like the Ronin gym ice bath challenge 2024. I actually think that it would like be good for the community because it kind of gives it's like the only like way to give yourself like a dopamine rush, kind of other than like exercise that's like natural, right? So it's like a healthy you can use it to like if you smoke a lot, right? If you smoke cigarettes or something like that, you can actually use like ice baths to replace that. If you like to drink and want to drink less, right? It's a good thing to think about actually, now that it's New Year's resolution time, because people are, you may be thinking about what is something that makes me feel good that's bad for my health that I want to replace. Like you can probably replace it with an ice bath.
Yeah. Okay. We're turning the Play-to-Airdrop. The only way you can do is participate is.
There's like the sauna, right? Like we need an ice tub in Terravilla for sure.
Okay. Well, thanks so much everybody for joining us. Hope you have a good rest of your day, or if you're just ending the day now. Thank you again. And it's gonna be an exciting next month. So we'll continue to be like super transparent on communication. We'll probably have even more leaks in the next AMA as well too, as we get some more things that we can start to share. And we'll have an update thread and like a release tomorrow on our end. Great. Thanks guys.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, that was big. Play-to-Airdrop starting tomorrow. Let's hope we won't have so much luck like in the last events. TIF will be big, so make sure to save some pixel to join a TIF guild. And can't wait for dungeons and chapter 2.